Hey guys, what's going on? My name is James, and as a graphic designer myself, I find it very difficult to price my artwork, so I got to thinking, I wonder how much the graphic designers that made some of the biggest, most notorious logos that we see on a day-to-day basis have actually been paid for their hard work. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
He tryna 69 like Takashi, call him Papi, worth the ASAP, keep me rocky. I'm from New York, so I'm...
Welcome back to the video, guys. We're going to be picking logos out at complete random, starting with Pepsi, valued at a whopping, drumroll please, $1 million. So it's very hard to justify whether it's a good logo when you're paying that amount for it. However, I feel like Pepsi weren't afraid to try something new. They matched two colours together. It's bold, it's vibrant. You don't see many other logos like it, despite how simple it is. And they definitely came on a long way from their first logo, that's for sure. That's up on screen now. Don't know quite what was going on here, but I respect the authenticity. So we're going to be moving on to the Google logo. Now this is an interesting one because nobody actually paid anyone for this. One of the co-founders decided that they could make it themselves using a program that's kind of considered a Photoshop alternative. It's called GIMP and it's completely free to use. He used this to make what has now become one of the most iconic logos ever. The original colours have stayed the same, but the logo itself has been updated over the years. There's actually been some speculation, I don't know if you guys have seen it, as to whether the newest Google logo actually has a mistake in it because some of the lines don't add up. The outside circle is slightly wonky on the right side. They then came out to say that they did this on purpose, and I completely agree with that. I know that when I make logos, sometimes if you make it perfectly add up on a grid, to the naked eye it doesn't quite look right, and sometimes you actually need to come away from the rulers and give it a bit of personality. So I don't think that was something just to get people off their backs. I'm buying it, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Anyway, let's move on to the next logo, which is going to be Apple. Now, I personally am going to rank Apple as the #1 most iconic logo to this day. I feel like there are other companies that outreach it, such as Coke or maybe even like a McDonald's. However, Apple's logo is so stylish. It was made so long ago, yet it's remained so iconic. It was very ahead of the game. I want to shout out the artist. His name is Rob Yanoff. He continued making logos for 40 years after this. I wish I could have shouted out all of the artists, but some of them were really hard to work out. Now, no one really knows how much he was paid. It's rumoured that it was $10,000, however, I'm not going to hold myself to that. Now, that sounds like a very insignificant amount, bearing in mind Apple's one of the biggest companies ever. However, at the time, Steve Jobs was still in his garage working on Apple, so I guess that kind of puts things into proportion. The logo was made when the company was very small. The guy literally just took a bite out of an apple because he thought that it looked too much like a cherry, which I think is quite a cool story. And the first logo that came out was in rainbow colours because they were demonstrating that their computers are now colour available, whereas before they were all in black and white. Right, we're going to be moving on to the next logo now, and I want you guys to pay attention because some of these start to get quite shocking. So this next logo that we're looking at is the Twitter bird logo, and this is by far the lowest cost turnout for any logo pretty much that I've ever seen, let alone on a company the size of Twitter. So the original artist uploaded his logo onto a sharing platform called iStockPhoto, where people can come along and buy their logos. So he'd already set his bar quite low, which was at $15. Twitter came along and purchased it, meaning he received $6 after taxes. Now, I don't quite know where my morals lie with this because I feel like it was his choice to put it that low. He set the bar low. He may have been making loads of these logos. Now that Twitter's a $1 billion company, it'd be nice to think that they went back and, you know, at least gave him a few $100,000 or something, do you know what I mean? It would be nothing to them. I don't think that's the case. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I did my research and I don't think they got in touch with them at all. They might have not been able to, or maybe he just, I don't know. Maybe they just chose not to. But effectively, that is probably the cheapest a company that size has ever purchased a logo for. Granted, they did modify it, and granted it was just the concept of like a blue bird at the start. But regardless, the logo never changed that much from their very first logo, which was literally $15. Now, in contrast to the Twitter logo being the cheapest logo of all time, I thought we should end with a bang on the most expensive logo of all time, that being Symantec, which is like an antivirus software. Now, I don't even want to say this number, it's just too big for a logo. It's really strange to think about. The more I think about it, the more it confuses me. But they spent over $1 billion on their logo. I'll have the exact figure on the screen now. Now this went into the whole like logo making campaign, which involved various artists from my understanding, but it was effectively, when I looked into it, it came down to one guy doing nearly all of the work into making this logo. Now in my opinion, it isn't even a very good logo. Like, I would rank it very averagely. I'd flick past it on like Google Images and wouldn't even look twice. And it's quite ironic, but they're now struggling as a business as far as I understand. This is in no intention slander if I have my facts wrong, but from the looks of it, they used to be extremely successful as like a high-end computer security company, but now they're kind of struggling to get people to even keep using them type thing. So it didn't turn out very well for them. It's too much money to spend on a logo, bearing in mind Twitter literally spent $6. Just think of the difference there. That could have like fed an entire country for a year. I don't even know what that could have done. Anyway guys, I wanted to quickly talk about what some of my favourite logos are. You guys definitely let me know as well. So I think the F1 logo is very, very cool. It's got like that hidden one inside the logo, and alongside that it's just very minimalistic because it's like racing. It has the speed, like the tracers behind where the vehicle would be, which I think is very sick. Now this is a logo that pretty much no one knows about. It's a CSGO team. Actually, they might have done other video games, but they're an esports team called Adapt, and they had like this chameleon looking thing made with like a ribbon, a rainbow ribbon. I just fell in love with this logo. I saw it when I was younger and I've never gotten over how cool it was. Another one would have to be the Chupa Chup logo, those little lollipops that have the logo on top. This was actually made by Salvador Dali, the guy that made like the melting clocks and the creatures on really tall legs. He was an insane artist, and it's just so cool to think that back then artists were also doing like logo commissions. He decided as well that the logo should be put on the top of every lollipop, which is kind of the reason that the brand became so iconic, but it's such a retro logo with a cool typeface. I don't think that's ever going to age. And for my final pick, it has to be the Mercedes-Benz logo, not just because of the shape, but because of the metal in the logo, like the effect of the angles and the very hard chiseled edges and the reflection. Everything about that logo is so iconic, and it's now my life goal to make sure I get a Merc one day. I know it's not completely out of reach, I'm sure I could, but you know, it has to be like a Benz truck or something solid. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what all of your favourite logos are, or even if some of you guys have made your own logos. I love reviewing your artwork, not from like a me on my high chair point of view, but just from general advice, or just a new pair of eyes just to look over it. Yeah, drop a like, and if you're new to this channel, subscribe. This is actually not my normal kind of content. I'm normally actually doing artwork myself, but I thought I should take a step back and just look at art as a whole, make some more kind of mainstream content that other people can appreciate. So if you liked me trying this kind of thing out, then as I said, drop a like, leave a comment. I read every comment, and I would love to see you guys in my next video. That is me out. Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye. That was an insane kiss noise. It was not supposed to come out like that. Iced out teeth on the iced out with the limousine tints.